Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is claiming to save taxpayers up to $350 billion a year.
This is the first time I'm feeling a new government is actually working, not just in the US.
Yeah, with him being in the government is like, expect the unexpected.
Exactly. So 350, I think it's easy.
How are they cracking down this and at this rate so fast? How are they doing this?
A lot of it is depending on AI. Obviously, Janu is more creative than me. Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of The Expert. I'm Janu, and today we've got a packed discussion covering everything from Elon Musk's latest move to Trump's evolving policies. Now, joining me are our go-to analysts, Assadour and Jiun. Great to have you guys back on.
Hi.
you.
After Chinese New Year.
Yes. Well, okay, let's kick things off with a headline that's been making waves. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, is claiming to save taxpayers up to $350 billion a year. I mean, that's a massive amount.
That's what a cute dog would do.
So, what exactly is DOGE doing to cut up these expenses?
Well, to start with, this is the first time I'm feeling that a new government, is actually doing something. Is actually working, doing some changes.
Yeah.
And people can disagree or agree with them what they're doing. That's another topic. My point is that this is the first time I'm feeling a new government that is actually working, not just in the US, just in the whole world. This is the first time I'm seeing their action, and very fast, like what you mentioned, the 350 billion per year.
Yeah.
And they're actually doing it, because so far, last time I checked, it was 111, I think, billion. And this all happened in 1 month.
Yeah.
They came, they joined the office, they took over on January 21st, January.
Yeah.
And now we are almost 1 month,
Yeah.
and already they saved the government with the 11 billion dollars. So 350, I think it's easy to reach if we continue like this, because reports are saying that they're saving 1 billion per day, but I think it's much more than 1 billion. It's 2-3 billion per day. At this rate, we can maybe get to 500 billion or 600 billion by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But considering this to the debt that US have, this is a very small amount.
Of course, it is
Yeah.
very small, but it's a step forward. Actually,
yeah.
they're
At least
actually
they're doing
trying to
something
do.
right now.
Maybe they're gonna do mistakes, for sure. They're gonna do mistakes along the way, because there's something new. But at least they're trying to do something. That's the way I see it. And you're right. Like the national debt is 36 trillion, right? And they have a deficit of 2 trillion. And their main objective, especially Elon Musk's objective, is to reduce the deficit as much as they can. Like maybe he's targeting 1 trillion by the end
He
of
wants
the
to
year.
cut it by half. Yeah.
In the first year, so at least. It's a bit ambitious, but why not? If not Elon Musk, then who? Because
That's true.
his history tells us that he's
Yeah.
not
He's
a
the
normal
right guy
human
for
being,
it,
you know?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm coming this from a tech, someone who has come from a tech industry, because back then I was running software company as well. So although I'm in Malaysia, but Elon Musk is in the US. But then of course back then internet exists, so it was kind of a global community as well. So in the tech industry, and obviously everything that Elon Musk has been doing it has tech that involved in his companies. So Tesla, SpaceX, XAI, X, and everything else. There's always tech involved. So in the industry, in the community itself, there is this mindset where it's part of a growth mindset where I would summarize all this into 5 points. So putting aside the policies or all the sagas that they are going through, so I'll go into the 5 points. So the first one will be vertical integration. So if you look back at the companies that Musk have, as Assadour said, if it's not Musk, if it's not Elon Musk, so who else would be the one who can do this, right?
Yeah.
So we should always go back to the companies that Elon Musk has and what he has done previously to his companies, and how he manages it from almost bankruptcy to what it is right now. Because back then, when I was managing my companies as well, it was during the time where Elon Musk companies was almost at the brink of bankruptcy.
Exactly. Tesla was on the brink of bankruptcy. And then look what happened.
Tesla was one of it.
Yeah.
SpaceX was one of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much like the whole world went through that process together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the community. Yeah. So so the first one is vertical integration. So Tesla pretty much minimizes his reliance on suppliers. So if we can see in Tesla Gigafactory, they pretty much do everything by themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you compare this to other automakers, yeah, they kind of, they have like a production line, but then there's suppliers all around.
So they import a lot of stuff. That's
Yes,
what you
they
mean.
import a lot of
So
stuff. So
with
the
Elon
moment
Musk,
you
they don't import a lot?
they import too,
Yeah.
but then majority of it is still
Okay.
being made in their own factories.
Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
sense.
So it pretty much takes engineering in different sectors. If let's say you are creating a car, so you have you have the body, you have the tech in there. So he pretty much makes everything, even the chips, he's doing it himself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you were to look this at other companies, right? Not every company does this,
Yeah,
they
of
pretty
course.
much buys from other companies and just assemble it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where the efficiency is, and this is what makes Tesla grow so quickly over the years. Yeah.
So he's
And-
applying the same
Yes, he's-
strategy on the government.
Yes,
in a
and
sense.
which is why we can see, the things in just this 1 month, there's so much changes that is happening. Yeah, and I think a lot of people are focusing on the policies, and all the
Yeah.
quarrels. Or I need data. This guy is not giving me data. The court is stopping me from doing this and that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah.
they are not really seeing the
big
you know-
picture.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
big
yeah.
picture
The big
behind all this move. Yeah.
And especially people are gonna get affected because they're cutting the budgets of like agencies and stuff.
Yeah.
So people are gonna get fired. Of course,
Yes.
these people are not gonna be happy about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's finding a lot of waste and corruption and
Yeah.
fraud. Like I don't know if you heard this, he found out that people are receiving their social security payments from the government, but these people are like he found 60 million people who are already dead because their age now is 150, 140,
Yeah, I
160.
saw this as well.
There's 200, there's 300.
You
You
they're
don't
supposed to be-
understand what
For real?
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
they're
these
still
people
receiving,
are receiving
Yeah.
social
So the money is going to somebody's pocket.
sus. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
all of
Yeah.
these are fraud,
Yeah,
corruption.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
eliminating
But-
everything.
I'm curious, okay,
Mm.
because I mean, Trump and Elon Musk are very well known
Mm.
businessmen before politicians.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
How are they doing this? How are they cracking down this and at this rate so fast? How are they doing this?
A lot of it is depending on AI.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are using it quite a lot. I think even Elon, I think pretty sure the government is very familiar with that. With Musk in there, even more familiar. He has an AI company, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so it's all this software that is which is why again going back to tech, he's applying all this into something that is very traditional, because the US is almost approaching 250 years old since their independence. So but then things hasn't changed much, right?
Yeah.
So this is where Elon Musk is trying to apply the new way of doing things back into the government, which not many people are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it's new, I guess it can be very controversial.
Yes.
But so
And
far it's
because you
been-
said they're not politicians, maybe
Yeah.
that's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Usually politicians,
Yeah.
they don't do the work.
Yeah, I
So-
mean the public's impression of them is
Yeah.
not.
So this mindset, it goes back again to the tech startup mindset,
Yeah.
where we were always questioning why we are doing certain things. So there's a principle for this. It's called hold on, first principle thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it basically question the status quo. Why are you doing certain things? It goes back to the fundamentals and find out whether there's problem with it. Yeah. It's something that I'm very fond of, and I pretty much use this with my team as well. So I always question them, and I encourage them to question me as well. So we can find out certain solutions, or if there's a better way of doing something. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And this makes people very uneasy. Even the lawmakers right now,
Of course. Yeah.
wow, they are very uneasy with this. Yeah. So talking of which, the first principle thinking, I have a video here that is that back then there was an interview with Steve Jobs. So obviously Steve Jobs is no longer with us right now, unfortunately. But it shows as well that this mindset is something that is very powerful.
How do you learn to run a company?
You know, throughout the years in business, I found something, which was I'd always ask why you do things. And the answers you invariably get are, oh, that's just the way it's done. Nobody knows why they do what they do. Nobody thinks about things very deeply in business. That's what I found. I'll give you an example. When we were building our Apple Ones in the garage, we knew exactly what they cost. When we got into a factory in the Apple II days, the accounting had this notion of a standard cost, where you'd kind of set a standard cost, and then at the end of a quarter, you'd adjust it with a variance. And I kept asking, well, why do we do this? And the answer was, well, that's just the way it's done. And after about 6 months of digging into this, what I realized was the reason you do it is because you don't really have good enough controls to know how much it costs. So you guess, and then you fix your guess at the end of the quarter. And the reason you don't know how much it costs is because your information systems aren't good enough. So, but nobody said it that way. And so later on, when we designed this automated factory for Macintosh, we were able to get rid of a lot of these antiquated concepts and know exactly what something cost to the second. So in business, a lot of things are, I call it folklore. They're done because they were done yesterday and the day before. And so what that means is if you're willing to sort of ask a lot of questions and think about things and work really hard, you can learn business pretty fast. It's not the hardest thing in the world.
It's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science, no.
Bringing it back to like, I do have a question. Do you, based off what you guys are saying, you know, it seems to be very effective, this new government. But let me ask you this. Do you guys think a country should be run by business people?
Why not?
I'm gonna need more than that. Yeah.
Because the government or a country is like a company. If you bring people that know how to
runs a
run
company and
big
runs
company
it.
corporation, they can run the government.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. And you did say something earlier. There are people that are not on board with this new government.
Oh,
Their-
yeah, of course.
Yeah, their ways, their techniques. What is the biggest argument or critique that we can that is against this new government that we can kind of like take into consideration so far?
Maybe it's the fact that they're firing a lot of people, and they're cutting the budgets of agencies or even closing down agencies. So this is the main critique, that it's gonna impact the economy later on,
All right.
like with unemployment and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I think all these kinds of message is always comes with when tech is coming around. So if you look back to history, when the first industrial revolution comes, you know, we have steam machine and all these things. The same argument was there. So when AI came, the same argument was there.
Yeah, there's always the same argument. Yeah.
So it's whether you adapt or, you know, you just Yeah.
Human beings always adapt.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
in the
so-
in the first phase,
then
it's hard.
because the fear was there.
Yeah.
So once we get over that, I think
Yeah,
it
yeah.
should be fine.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And well, we all know that Elon Musk has a way of shaking things up with
Mm.
tweets.
Mhm.
And
Oh, yeah.
so have there
with
been
X.
yeah. So have there been any recent moments where he's posted something that really moved the market?
He posts a lot of weird things sometimes and nice things.
He
nice
does. He
information.
kind of similar
It's
to
nice.
Trump.
It's nice to follow him.
Mhm.
But last thing I remember that he impacted the market was Doge, the coin.
The coin. Mhm.
Yeah, that was the last impact that I remember
Mhm.
that had on the markets
Mhm.
directly.
Mhm.
But of course, we're gonna see
Yeah.
new things in the
Oh.
next 40 years for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I
If you
think
have-
currently the market is waiting for them to actually make an impactful policy of some sort. But I think they are doing the research right now on what are needed to be done. So I think for now we should wait until there's a certainty. Yeah, which is why we can see that there's a lot of sideways movement even in Bitcoin is going almost straight.
Yeah, same place. Yeah.
Almost straight. And then your forex, your currencies as well is almost going straight. Except for of course the Japanese yen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because and gold as well. Yeah, which I think we will talk about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean because due to tariff and uncertainties, the market is siding to the safe havens, which explains the trends in the yen and gold. Yeah.
100%.
And because you mentioned Dodge earlier,
Mhm.
is it worth watching for now?
Dodge, yeah. As long as Musk is in the office,
It's no
is
longer
in the
seen as
administration,
a
Yeah.
meme coin.
you can never know when he will pump it up again. So it's always interesting to keep a watch just in case something happens.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he would use it in the government somehow. You never know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
He
It's a-
doesn't think like a normal
like,
human being.
yeah.
You know, he's always
Yeah,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
him being
Above
in,
and beyond.
Yeah, with him
It's-
being in the government is like, expect the unexpected.
Exactly,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
breaking news era.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? It's
Yeah.
always breaking news.
All right, and also recent reports have shown that Trump
Mm-hmm.
has imposed a 25% additional
Oh, yeah.
tariff on Mexico and also Canada, and a 10% tariff on imports from China. So, how are these tariffs expected to affect the U.S. economy?
I think initially, okay, so I think we should have this mindset that tariff is a protectionism policy. So when they, back in history, when they were to implement something like this, it was to protect their own economy. So if you look back, when tariff hits, it was usually when there's a recession or in the brink of recession. But right now, of course, it doesn't look like we are in a recession, which is
No,
why
not now.
which is why there's a lot of complaints on implementing
Maybe this will
tariffs.
push or trigger, or this will be the catalyst for recession. Maybe that's what you're saying. The tariffs.
I think maybe recessions for other countries that is relying on
okay,
the
yeah, yeah.
US, but not the
Not
US.
the US. Okay, I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, because in the end of the day, it's a protectionism policy. So, so the countries that are implementing this, they're actually the one who eventually will get benefited. Yeah,
Okay.
because production and jobs, it all goes back to that country, which is why it's usually being implemented during recessions and situations like that, so the countries could survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But-
it's the same thing with China, with India right now.
Okay.
India is the one that is implementing tariff quite a lot to protect their own industries.
But is there a short-term pain when you're implementing the tariffs? For example, no matter how you turn it around, like products are gonna get more expensive if you implement tariffs, especially electronics, appliances.
Yeah,
things like
I
that.
mean, even if you don't
So
app-
if there is gonna be inflation on
Mhm.
these specific items, So people are gonna get hurt in a sense.
I think they will get hurt. Again, it's adapting to the new prices.
I know, yeah.
Initially, of course, when if I were to say this bottle of water increased by $1, I'm not gonna feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Initially,
Yeah.
but after a while, I'll get used to it. To the
Yeah,
new prices.
exactly, like everything else.
Yeah,
So
so-
inflation is not new. It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
been there.
So in the long run, as long as the people can afford to pay this water with that extra $1, I
Okay.
think should be fine.
Yeah, okay, I
Yeah.
get it. I
That's
get it.
fair, yeah.
Yeah. So eventually, which is why the economy will eventually grow again, but that not the opposing partner. Yeah.
Also, this could be a strategy.
Yeah. For
From Trump.
negotiation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like strategy to push other countries or have leverage on them to do what they want to do, to make deals the way the
They want it
US
to be.
wants
Yeah.
to do them. So it's like a threat at the same time. It's not violent threat, it's not a real war. So maybe it's just a strategy. He's bluffing. Trump is bluffing, let's say, with these countries just to
get a
see their reaction.
Yeah.
If they call his bluff, then okay, then you have to take it, eat it. If they don't, then you gain a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that's the strategy he
That's
might be doing. Yeah.
That's interesting. And there's also been talks about like Canada and US working together, or even suggestions of a joint power initiative.
Oh yeah.
What's driving this conversation? What's going on about this?
Trade deficits, right?
Well, I don't think it's gonna happen. Again, it's just like
A minor,
he's trying to. How do we say? He's testing the waters to see who's gonna attack him, who's gonna say okay, who's gonna. He's just like
just
throwing
throwing it
stuff
out.
out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
just throwing stuff out there. So Canada, the thing about Canada is one of the things. So I don't think it's gonna happen to join, but the main reason, the good thing, I think it's a good thing if they do. by
they
the way.
do join?
What
if they
you
do
mean?
join.
Being the 51st state?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
If Canada joins US, it can be a good thing. Why not? I don't see anything bad about it. They can be joint forces with the mainly it's energy security because Canada has a lot of energy, oil. So I don't see it as a bad thing, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay. Any opposing views, June?
I don't think it's gonna happen as well.
Alright.
At least not in my lifetime, maybe.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't.
But I think Elon Musk just posted something on X just now.
About Canada?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was saying that why the U.S. taxpayer should pay 2/3 of their defense budget when they are not even the state of the
okay.
US.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that brings a lot of
Things
questions.
can
Yeah.
change, of course,
Yeah.
but not necessarily to be one country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to that extent.
Yeah. Because even if that happens, it's gonna be a long,
Yes.
process.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's not easy.
Or maybe
Yeah.
there will be a war. Who
I
knows?
don't
But,
think so.
but I don't think so.
I don't think
Yeah.
so. No.
All right. And while this is the second time that Trump has been elected,
Oh yeah.
one thing I'm really curious about is what has been different in Trump's approach since his last term and also him being in office now. So far, it's been 1 month. But
I think I think the most obvious one, comparing to his first term,
yeah.
is the speed at which things are being executed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
now is moving very fast. Tariffs are being announced and implemented almost immediately.
Yeah.
Back then, when tariff was announced and actually being implemented, it was quite a few months away. Yeah, and then of course the market feels the heat, and then back then, things wasn't looking good 6 months later when the tariff are being implemented. So right now, we should look at whether if the market could sustain this tariff or not. And one good thing is that right now we have a very high interest rate. So if the market were to go down, maybe we can see
cut
that the
rates.
Fed is going to come to the rescue.
Yeah.
And I think they are almost done with QE, because if you were to look at look back at the repo market, the reverse repo market, it's almost going to zero. Yeah.
okay.
So it in other words, it means that excess money in the market.
They don't have
is-
any more excess money.
Yeah.
They just have this weapon to.
Yeah. So it
Cut
goes
rates.
back to policy. It's either QE or
Okay.
very light QE. I read this on Bloomberg.
Eventually,
just-
they will restart QE. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
way around it.
Yeah, but at the moment, I think QE and that's interest rates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, he learned from his mistakes from his first
Yeah.
term, and you can see the difference between his team.
Yeah, I was
Like, if
gonna
you look
say.
back
Mhm.
at his old team,
Yeah.
they were mostly corrupt politicians,
Yeah.
and that's what he said.
Yeah.
You know, now recently.
it's like you can feel his confidence. You know,
So
the
now,
confidence
yeah,
he has
he's
for
choosing
his
people
team.
even
Yeah.
smarter than him,
Yeah.
putting
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Technically he's smarter than you.
Maybe
you know?
back
Smarter
then,
than everyone,
you know,
right?
back then there wasn't so many choices.
Yeah,
But right
exactly.
now it's
Yeah.
very different. It's
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah.
And that's why we're feeling the impact
Mhm.
very quickly.
Fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, speaking of Elon Musk,
Mhm.
on other news, Elon Musk tried to buy OpenAI for nearly $100 billion, and they flat out rejected him,
Yeah.
okay, stating that the company is not for sale.
Mhm.
With OpenAI standing so firm, is there any implications of this decision to the AI industry? And we know Elon Musk as someone who does retaliate. Is he gonna build a competitor?
I think he already did.
Is
What,
he
you
gonna?
mean X? You mean XAI?
The Grok 3
The Grok 3?
released
Mhm.
yesterday, I think, or
Oh,
on Monday.
wow.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So
Do not
he's-
mess with
he's
Elon Musk and
he's
Kendrick
claiming
Lamar.
It's the smartest
Yeah.
AI so far. That's what he's
Wow.
claiming.
Okay.
So I don't know. We have to put it to the test. to
I
see if-
I asked my friend in the AI community
Okay,
about
yeah.
all these models that they are using. So of course there's DeepSeek, there's
Oh, yeah,
ChatGPT,
for sure.
there's Grok, there's Llama, there's all kinds of different LLM models. So the comments was that XAI or Grok wasn't actually that smart, but then yeah, that's what the community would say. I haven't tried. I haven't
newest
asked.
one?
Yes, because it was
Okay, yeah.
just released.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I will ask them later.
Yeah. You
But
should.
yeah, but anyway, every model they have their own specialty. Like us humans, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
obviously Janu is more creative than me. Yeah. Yes. So
Keep going.
yes, so it's different.
What else,
So we
Jiun?
can see that AI is just different types of brain. So yeah, so it's the same. So Janu has a different brain than mine.
So
So it's just a different brain
Every AI
which
does
has a specialty.
something
So it
special.
comes back to XAI groups. So XAI they were saying that this is meant to ask questions about the universe, space, tough questions like why do we exist, things like this.
Existential questions.
Yeah. So it's quite different to OpenAI's ChatGPT or even DeepSeek.
Okay.
But I would like to counter that by saying, don't all AI models essentially just take stuff from the internet?
Now they're learning and
Yeah,
teaching
but-
themselves, and you
yes.
can teach them.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's one term in AI. It's a phrase in the AI community. Whatever that goes, rubbish in, rubbish out. So in other words, whatever that goes in that you use to teach that AI model, so it's gonna come out with whatever you teach them with. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing. If I spend a lot of time, going through economics and math and things like that, definitely my skills in that part
It's
is
gonna
gonna be
be-
better.
yeah.
And Janu, she spends a lot of time in performing arts, creative things.
Yeah.
Definitely she will be better at that. So it's the same thing with all these AIs. Yeah.
Okay, I
So
get it.
my friend were saying that XAI or Grok is actually better at writing, at creative writing instead of doing math and all those things. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and makes sense because XAI takes the content from X,
Oh.
and on
Yeah.
X people are talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because on the internet there are a lot of
Comments, yeah,
different
different views.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, on Google, if you search on Google, especially now,
Yeah.
a lot of articles are AI made,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But on X, real people are talking
That's
with their
true.
thoughts and
Very
emotions,
unfiltered.
feelings. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's different. That's why maybe it's better inviting.
yeah,
It helps.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So not exactly a competitor, just a different model for my view. Yeah.
All right. And all right, so before we wrap up, let's do a quick market check. Gold has been climbing, but stocks seem a bit stuck.
Yeah.
What
Just below 3,000. Yeah, just below 3,000.
what should investors be watching for in the coming weeks?
You know, just for the record, I think Assadour had a target of 3,000 last year. Many months ago. I think we are almost there.
We are
Yay,
almost
bravo,
there. We are
bravo.
almost there. But how things are going, maybe 3,000 is not the top. Maybe we can see 3,200, 300, 400, 500. I have no idea before the trend ends and reverses.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, like 1 year ago, I thought when gold reaches 3,000, I think it's gonna be the top for the stock market, also everything, and we're gonna see big reversal. But so
Doesn't-
far, it's not. It's not the
Yeah.
case at all. So
Yeah.
I'm combining the stock market, the indices, and gold at the same time. Both of them are very good, strong momentum. So I think it's gonna continue.
All right.
And the way, however you look at it, at gold, like however you spin it, you feel you should be bullish on it. I don't see main reason to be bearish on gold now.
At least only for very short term.
Yeah,
but on
in
the long term
next,
is
of course.
quite-
In the next, let's at least 1, 2, 3 months, I don't see a negative impact that can send gold lower.
Yeah.
I don't know, few hundred points and stay there. No, like because of the tariffs and the fear of inflation and the possibility of Fed cutting rates. All of these.
There's one point.
Yeah, what?
The war in Russia and Ukraine, it stops. Then
Okay,
maybe
yeah.
there's a bit of fear that's coming out from
Maybe
the
yes.
markets.
That will impact oil more than gold. In my
It's
opinion.
already going down, you know.
Yeah. Oil market is so
But
hard
I
to
think
predict. By the
I
way, like,
remember back
I'm
then-
not even looking at it.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about it.
Exactly right.
You can't trade oil now. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying something.
Yeah, I remember back then when the war first started for Ukraine and Russia, then gold actually spiked and
Oh,
it
yeah,
never
yeah.
come down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it
I
helps, but it's not the main catalyst. That's what
Yeah.
you need to remember. The
Yeah.
main catalyst is the Fed
Yeah.
and what's happening.
Yeah. So if the war were to stop, maybe there's a short-term bearish movement.
Oh yeah, okay.
For
It's a buying
you.
opportunity,
Yeah.
and it's gonna stop hopefully. They're putting the meetings together in Saudi Arabia. They already met. The U.S.
Yes,
and Russia. They already met the
Mm-hmm.
first phase of meetings. So I think they're gonna make a deal, peace deal,
Alright.
and yeah.
Well, whoever's looking at that can take that little short period of time as an advantage to buy.
Who knows
Yeah,
when
if
it's gonna
prices,
happen?
pull
Yeah.
back, of course. Yeah.
But overall, gold looks like it's going pretty
For
good.
now, yes. For now, it's strong.
All right.
Let's see on the next meeting.
We shall
will update.
see. Yeah. All right. That's all for today's episode. Big thanks to Assadour and Jiun for the insights. And as always, thanks to our listeners for tuning in. If you enjoyed this discussion, make sure to subscribe and follow us for more market updates. Remember, stay informed, stay ahead, and we will catch you in the next one.